Good morning. Welcome here. Welcome to Roxbury. Welcome to Malcolm X Park, our newly $9 million renovated park here in the heart of Roxbury. Please give yourself a round of applause. My name is Ryan Woods, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Parks Commissioner for the City of Boston. I'm joined by many colleagues here today, and we're so excited to be here in the heart of Roxbury. We picked this location. As you can see, there's Roxbury Youth Soccer practicing behind us on the new field. This park has everything from renovated basketball courts to the children's playground up top, a natural grass field here that the softball league has been using for years, as well as the soccer program that's going to be here. And we thank our partners, the friends and stewards of Malcolm X Park. We thank the local civic associations that helped engaged in this, the residents that took part in a very lengthy community process through this park, the Shelburne Community Center of Diane and Miss Harris, who have always been collegial to us, have always been friends of ours, actually gave us a rain location today, and as soon as they gave us a rain location, the weather changed, so we thank them for that. I want to acknowledge the team that worked on this from the Parks Department. So Lauren Bryant was the project manager that's here. Lauren, thank you for all your work on this, as well as Kathy Baker Eclipse, who oversees our design and construction division, who worked on this project. We have Sherry and Brandon here from Weston and Sampson from the design team who helped design this park. Thank you for that. And John, Barbara, and Liam are all here from Fleming Brothers. Fleming, thanks for your work in constructing this park. Chevanice is probably out there, but we worked hard with, oh, she's right here, thank you. Right behind us with Roxbury Youth Soccer, and this will be their new home where you'll see them out here playing. I want to acknowledge Smoke. Smoke, if you're here, if you just raise your hand, a local artist. He fabricated... Smoke fabricated the benches that you will see with names of local figures and activists that are important to this community all around the walking loops of this park. So thank you, Smoke, for your work with that. Keith Griffin also here in attendance from Math Talks. Keith, if you raise your hand. So over there in the back for a math education through play. So this park has a math trail with Math Talks, and that was founded by Roxbury resident Omo Moses. So we're excited to have that here in this park. As I mentioned, the Latinx Softball League and Roxbury Youth Soccer, this has been their home, and it's a joy to be here in the heart of Roxbury to celebrate again this $9 million renovation. It's now my pleasure to introduce, I think the mayor refers to her as the person in charge of all things green in the city of Boston. She is our chief of environment, energy, and open space for the city of Boston. Please welcome Reverend Mariama White-Hammond.
So I'm going to be short, but I am just really thankful to be here. As many of you know, my aunt and uncle lived at 21 Mayfair Street for many years, and so on Saturdays and many other days, when we had watched a few too many cartoons, my uncle would say, it's time for all of you to go outside, find something to do. And this was a place where we spent a lot of hours being outside, playing tennis at the tennis courts when we weren't really that good at tennis, and moving through this space and really just enjoying being in community. I had hoped that he would be able to be here because my Uncle Dwight Barnett was a umpire for the softball leagues in the 80s, but he passed away in July. But I'm thankful because I believe that he's looking down on us. And I'm really thankful because this park is also now fully ADA accessible. Some of you know that my Aunt Jean struggled to walk, and for many years she came to this park, but then as she began to lose her mobility, they would have to get in the car and drive over to English High to walk around the fields there because that was the only space that was safe for her with her walker. And she has gone on now, but I am thankful to know that for folks who might need a little bit more help, who are moving in a walker, who are moving in a wheelchair, this park is now going to be continually accessible to everybody in the community, and everyone will be able to move through this space. So we are so thankful, and I'm going to stop talking, but I see many of you who were part of the community meetings, who came out. We tried to fit a lot of things in this park, and people advocated, and I thank you for your advocacy. I think we've come to something that really, really honors all of the different people who use this park. And I look forward to BNBL being able to come back here and be here and be able to have the kinds of gatherings and celebrations in this park. And so in the spirit of Malcolm X, in the spirit of this community of Roxbury that nurtured and raised me, I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to introduce a leader who is committed to parks, who knows the importance of building community, our own mayor, Michelle Wu.
Good morning, everyone. We finally got here. It took a bit of time and lots, as any good, thoughtful, incredibly important community project goes, in order to make sure that the justice was done to the history that resides here, the memories and generations of impact. It took a while to make sure that all the various pieces could be fit together, and I'm so grateful to everyone who was part of that, and to our Parks Department under the leadership of the Reverend, of Commissioner Woods, and the entire team, Kathy and Lauren and everyone who was involved with this, because this, I will say, you know, I'm now almost 2 years in, and I think this process has been very, very special, and has been a little bit different than how we do a lot of other projects in the city, and really wanting to be intentional and dig all the way down to get it right, both of in terms of the kind of historical landscape that's here, but also the sense of neighborhood and community history that was here. On the way in, I ran into some of the members of the original planning committee and those who were involved in that process. Could you give us a wave if you were involved way back in the day, starting years ago in that? Thank you for helping to steer us to this moment. Give a wave if you've already gotten the chance to go through and walk and use some of the facilities here. Okay, all right, so a lot of people may be here for the first time, and give a wave if you live in this area and are going to be here day in and day out. Okay, so for those folks, especially for our community members and neighbors, I want you to hear, I haven't even started the official remarks, but I want you to hear that this isn't the end of when the city and the Parks Department and all of us are going to be here loving and celebrating this park with you. We want your continued feedback on what's working, what you feel could still, you know, might have some feedback here or there. This is an ongoing process of making sure that all of our spaces are living and evolving along with us. So thank you for being on this journey. We're also joined, as has already been recognized, with Smoke and some of the other community members that Ryan shouted out. We wanted to make sure that all of our green spaces are also incorporating so many of the other needs for communities to be whole, for kids to have everything that's possible to fulfill them as whole family members and community members. And so I want to thank our Cabinet of Arts and Culture as well. They're going to be filling the space with incredible public art and continuing to engage local artists in this. I also want to recognize Mr. Rodnell Collins, nephew of the late legend Malcolm X himself, and president of the Malcolm X and L. Little Collins Family Foundation. And I got to see some of the little ones of the next generation running around too. So thank you so much for being part of this. And thank you for the foundation's role in preserving a proud Boston landmark in the Malcolm X and Ella Little Collins house. And a special shout out also to Michael Miles, former president of the Mayfair Elmore Kensington Streets Neighborhood Association, for all of the care and intention and participation in this. I want to just give a quick rundown on some of the features that you'll see as you make your way around. There are climbing structures, swings, a larger newly renovated water play area, fresh surfaces for the tennis courts, a full reconstruction of the 4 basketball courts, making them all regulation size, plus new seating, a scoreboard, and added lighting so that even after the sun goes down, the game can go on. We also took care to preserve the legacy of the courts. And so the Parks Department worked to ensure that the iconic footprints and signatures of former Celtics are still there, so that the players today of this next generation will always remember whose shoes they will fill one day. The renovated multi-use field will be available for softball, soccer, kickball, and disc golf, and includes a walking loop, exercise equipment, new chess and game tables, and even a barbecue plaza for summer cookouts. The Parks Department also made improvements to the areas in and around Honeysuckle Hill, from repaving the pathways, as the chief mentioned, so that there's fully accessible ways to get to the top of the hill and down, ensuring that everyone of our residents and visitors can enjoy that beautiful view. There's just so much as you make your way around that you'll see, but I just wanted to close by saying I'm so full of gratitude and so full of pride at all the work and involvement that has gone into making this space one that we hope will continue to live up to the fierce sense of community that its namesake championed, and one that this neighborhood and our city residents deserve. So now to turn it over and talk a little bit more about the programming that our arts and culture partners will be doing, I want to invite up Chief of Arts and Culture, Cara Elliott Ortega.
Thank you, Mayor, and thanks everyone. So excited to be here today to talk a little bit more about the public art that's going to be coming to this space. We're so excited at the Mayor's Office of Arts and Culture that this renovation includes 4 new public art projects that we expect to unveil in spring of 2024. In the many community meetings that were a part of the planning for this renovation, it was clear that everyone wanted to see new public art in this space as a part of celebrating the history of the park. And in collaboration with the Parks Department and the Community Working Group, we selected the wall of the BCYF Shelburne right behind us and 3 of the basketball courts as sites for new artworks. So without further ado, I'm really excited to announce the lead artists for these projects. For the first basketball court, Rob Pro Black Gibbs, who I believe is here. Rob is going to lead an amazing team of local artists from Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan, working collaboratively to bring vibrancy to the basketball court. For the second basketball court, Sydney G. James leads a team of 5 artists hailing from Detroit, Roxbury, and the greater Boston area. And together they aim to craft a mural that encapsulates the shared bond between Detroit and Roxbury, paying tribute to the life of Malcolm X. And we have Gina from Sydney G. James. Gina, can you raise your hand? Hi, Gina. Thank you. For the third basketball court, Otra Ciudad is joining forces with Nomada Urbano, an esteemed urban design studio based in Mexico. With a wealth of experience painting basketball courts and pavement murals worldwide, they aim to develop a mural that captures the rich diversity of Roxbury. And then lastly, Gio Go 5 Ortega and Luis Take 1 Taforo will lead a team to paint the mural on the wall of the BCYF Shelburne, using their personal ties to the neighborhood to create a mural that pays homage to the legacy of Malcolm X, Roxbury, and this community. So I cannot wait to see the final murals created by this incredible roster of artists. The artwork that you'll see in the spring is going to be the product of a lot of different artistic perspectives representing Roxbury and Boston, and connections to the history of this place. So we're just really excited to see it. Thank you for joining us today. Please come back and join us in the spring when we actually unveil the artworks and celebrate the artists. It's going to be a really amazing moment, and we're just really looking forward to it. I want to also thank Parks and Recreation for just being great collaborators on making sure that we have public art in these public spaces to enjoy. And I also want to thank Liza Quinones of Street Theory for helping to manage these projects, not just here, but all over the city. And thank you to all the community members who contributed to this and helped us come up with this direction for bringing public art to the space. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Rodnell Collins, president of the Malcolm X Ella L. Little Collins Family Foundation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Mayor Wu, Reverend, all of you, particularly the ones that were early on this project, early on. This is something that started decades ago. Decades. A lot of work when the city people came to my mother some time ago after the situation here in Boston of the 60s. They wanted to do something, particularly I should mention here, I do not see her, but this park came about of those few African Americans in community, such as Royal Bolden, former state rep, the late Royal Bolden, his son, who was city council president, and late city council president, Royal Bruce. And I should also, we don't hear about a person that he was so in love with the city, like the late Mal King, but Tom Atkins. Tom and my mother were very close. He was the NAACP president here in Boston, which is on Massachusetts Avenue across from my mother's office. And at that time, those few men and also a few women, Helen Davis, who Miss Elfrida Harris knew very well, given to the community. There's a plaque over here in this building honoring Helen, who had been giving to this community. Alma Lewis. These people knew my mother. W.W. Perkins, Muriel, Otto Snowden, Freedom House. They had an idea where something should be done to honor Malcolm and Dr. King. That's why you have Martin Luther King Boulevard and Malcolm X Park, because the two meet. And there's more of a story there behind just a picture. And I don't have the time, but I want you to know some of the history. And one of the beautiful things that I want to mention to you all here was the fact that across the nation and the world, and I'm saying internationally, there are many parks around the world, even in British England. I could say it now. There's Meridian Hill Malcolm X Park in Washington, D.C., National Park Service. So Mayor Wu, community, this park is a template for all the other parks to be named in the nation and the world. And the Department of Interior recognizes that very much. And they appreciate the community, your work, and all those that, you know, we can talk a lot. There's a lot of talk. This park, even though it was delayed, but the contractor and the project manager, Lorraine Bryant, and Liam, being the worker he is, there he is. Give a hand to Liam Fleming. He's the general contractor for this park. The project manager, Lorraine Bryant. Lorraine, there she is. Give a hand to Lorraine. Now, I wear 5 hats, and one of them has been in construction for several years. There's a young man here and his son, Kevin Stone, helping. One of the things that Malcolm did, my mother did, was invest in those that want to invest in the future. She didn't talk. As Malcolm says in biography, you couldn't stop her. She was just behind the scenes. You'd be surprised. Even the African-American flag that you see, those colors, red, black, and green. Those were Garvey colors, but the flag was stitched with some African-American women who used that flag as a flag that represents us as a people and what we've gone through. And that was placed on his casket, and every year, May 19th, in New York City, Ferncliff Cemetery, since his passing. The significance of that represents all of us here. And this park, Mayor Wu, is part of an initiative now with the U.S. Department of Interior to tell history of African Americans through land and conservation. So look at this. Look at this. You have these children. We're blessed to have the people that came forth, people. Keep this park. Love this park. It needs love. Liam gets over here. Very seldom you'll see a person that owns a company will come out and get down on their knees and dig every day, a shovel, do everything. He never asked his workers to do what he would not do. This park would not be finished here today if it wasn't for Liam, Lorraine Bryant, coming out here to get this done, and of course, Commissioner Woods.
Thanks, Rodney.
Please. So thank you for coming out. Bless you all, and everyone that's been involved, continue the good work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rodnell. I saw a couple people in the crowd. I want to shout out the community from St. Joe's. So I should have mentioned at the beginning that we're very engaged in this. So I saw Miss Leah and Andrea here who are on all the calls and stuff. Thank you for your engagement, St. Joe's. Also here, Councilor Fernandes Anderson for all the work that she does in this park and in District 7. Thank you very much, Councilor. Who's here? She doesn't want to come up. No. And now at this time, I want to introduce another civic leader, someone who's very engaged in the process from MEK, the group Mayfair, Elmore, Kensington Streets Neighborhood Association, their past president. Please welcome Michael Miles.
So good morning. It's good to be here and good to see you all. Good morning, Roxbury, representing. It's a great crowd, and I'm really proud that you're all here to witness this celebration. I live right across the street on Mayfair Street. I want to just remark that I knew Jean and Dwight, Mariama's family. They were my neighbors, and beautiful people. We miss them and think about them all the time. As a resident, my family started here when the boulevard was poured through in the urban renewal process back in the 60s. Before that happened, my mother lived on the center lane of MLK Boulevard. My father lived on Rockland Ave, and they met and dated in this park. And I'm sure I was a spark from those dates in this park. I actively participated in this project because I love this community, as Rodnell just said. It's a beautiful place. We have resources that we just really need to appreciate. While Nubian Square is sort of designated as the heartbeat of Roxbury, I think Malcolm X Park is the DNA of Roxbury. I really believe that. As I said, I love this park and I love my neighbors, and I'm really proud for many reasons, but I'll just share 2 reasons today that I'm really proud about this event and this ribbon cutting. The first reason is that we have a really special mayor, Mayor Wu. When we had some challenges with the process, Rodnell mentioned there was a stoppage, the work was halted, very costly, very big delay. We stood fast because we really wanted the voice of the community to make sure that this park met the expectations, the wishes, and the desires of the community. So we held firm on that. And eventually we went down to City Hall, invited by the mayor to meet with her in her chamber, and we had a discussion. And she listened. We didn't resolve it at that time, but she listened. And a short while later, we were back in motion. Mayor Wu came and said, look, we're going to make the adjustments. We're going to make sure the park is healthy. We're going to make sure that the resources are allocated to do what we need to do. We'll find the money in the budget to get this done. I think it was mentioned $9 million. And that commitment really showed me a lot about our mayor, that she has an open mind, that she's willing to make adjustments, that she appreciates and wants the input from the community. And so with her big heart and her open mind, here we are today with a wonderful park. Thank you, Mayor Wu. The second reason, which I think is equally important, is the active engagement of all of the community here. It was said that I live on Mayfair and I'm part of the MEK, but there were so many more people, so many more blocks, streets, organizations that participated in this event. And it really took a lot, starting with the meeting in 2020 to kick this off. Countless meetings, countless actions, and countless discussions. Some of them were not very good discussions, very heated debate. And what it really brought out to me, I think, was the real essence of our community, which is that we are different, we're diverse, we are special, but we all come from different cultures. There are lots of different races represented. There are lots of different lifestyles, genders, there's seniors, there's young people. So we had to deal with all of that. And I think out of this process, not only did we get a beautiful park, but we got a community that came together like I hadn't seen it come together before, like we are gathered here today. And I believe that will carry this effort along into the future, but also galvanize us in a way that we can work through problems, we can solve issues. We tend to see a lot of external forces coming at us, but we also have the forces internally that we need to deal with. And I think through this process, we were able to manage a lot of that and make progress and really have a collective movement that made this project come to completion. And I just want to shout out a few of the areas that really participated that are budding this park, and certainly the MEK, the Shelbourne, Miss Harris, Diane, Say No More, St. Joe's, Dale Street, Regent Street, the Wakulla Street community, Derek, Jose, Rodnell certainly, Warren Gardens, Walnut Ave, Charlemagne, Marksdale, Monroe Street, Garrison Trotter, all of that is us. And it's all represented in the work that was done here. So when we galvanize ourselves and when we come together, we can make it happen. And I would like us to continue to do that and build on that strength. That's my goal and that's my hope. And I share that as my wish for all of us, that we will make that energy live on, and we will get the Malcolm X statue in this park. We will get the murals built. We will get all the future things done. So let's keep that energy going, and thank you all for coming out. Thanks again to the administration, Mariama, and Mayor and her team. God bless you.
Thank you so much. I just want to recognize two other cabinet members who are here who make sure in every project that we do, we're trying to engage as many community members as possible. So we have our Chief of Community Engagement, Brianna Malore, as well as our Chief of Operations, Dion Irish. And I just want to make sure one more time. I know the counselor often shies away from being out in front, but this is in your district. We want to make sure we hear from you. Councilor Fernandes Anderson, please come up and say a few words if you might be willing. Come on up. Come on up.
Oh, I see. Good morning, everyone. I do shy away from the camera. Thank you so much, Michelle, for allowing me to speak today. I'm not always allowed to speak on microphones at press conferences, so I'm not sure when I'm allowed to speak, and that's why I shy away. So this is our district, right? District 7, Roxbury, and I appreciate our mayor for having the insight and her policies that are all the way fighting climate displacement in our communities. But as we know, in Black communities, we have to continue to do this. We have to create spaces that allows us to just enjoy quality of life, to increase and improve our quality of life, and that's what I'm fighting for. Sometimes we disagree, and I'm not allowed to speak at press conferences for those reasons. But for full transparency, I love Michelle Wu. I actually adore her, and I just disagree with her policy sometimes. And then sometimes I'm not allowed to speak. So in full transparency, I tell you, I have to speak honestly all the time with you. I will speak from the heart always with you. I will never be someone else. For that, I love you, Roxbury, and we'll continue to work and advocate for you. Thank you, Michelle.
We would love to have people from the community, people that are engaged in the community process, to join us up here so we can officially cut the ribbon to officially, ceremonially open up this park. So please don't be shy. We'd love to have some young families and children as well join us. So please come on up right by the podium, my left, your right, to join us for a photo. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Malcolm X Park is officially open. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Please enjoy your new park.